What's up, guys? Nick from the Average Biker Garage, back with another episode of the Average Biker Podcast. I've got a little bit of housekeeping to take care of before today's interview, so if you don't want to listen to that shit, just go ahead and fast forward. If you're still here, I appreciate that. So I made this long casting call type post in a number of Facebook groups that I'm a member of. I've mentioned the Garage Built group on here numerous times, and I've also mentioned the Honda Shadow groups. So those are the type of groups that I'm talking about. Anyway, I made this long casting call type post, and the response to it was overwhelming. Blown away by the response to it, and very humbling. So I'm trying to get to all of you that are interested in being guests on the show. I haven't yet, so if you sent me a message and you're waiting for a reply, just know that it's coming. You just got to be patient with me. So it really caught me off guard how many people responded to it and were interested in being on the show. So I appreciate it. I'm grateful, and I will get back to you. With that being said, if you'd like to be a guest on the show and have it hit me up, yeah, please do. Just know that it will be a minute before I'm able to reply to you, but I will be in touch as soon as possible. Next up on the housekeeping list is the Owasso Vintage Motorcycle Show and the Wild Stallions Motorcycle Build Competition. If you follow me on YouTube, I've started posting videos of another build that I'm doing. It's another Honda Shadow build, but I'm building it for the Wild Stallions motorcycle competition. And if you aren't following me on YouTube, what the fuck are you doing? Get over there and follow me right now. Like, pause what you're doing. It doesn't cost you anything. Just go give me a follow. You even got to watch my videos. Just subscribe and follow along. So the competition is about a month away. I'm pretty sure it's on August 25th, 26th. I'll have links down below in the show notes to all of the to the Wild Stallions build and the Vintage Motorcycle Days show, so you guys can check that out. But yeah, so it's the show's about a month away, so all of us builders are in a mad dash to finish our builds. I think there's 5 other builders. I'm not sure. But if you're close to Owasso, please come out and support the show. Support the show and all of us builders and all of the sponsors of it. If you aren't close to Owasso and can't make it out, go give the build page and the show page a follow. Like I said, I'll post the links in the show notes. But it costs nothing. You know, it helps support a grassroots motorcycle show. And yeah, just kind of helps it move along to the next level. All right, so if you're still listening, thank you. My guest today is well known in most of the Facebook motorcycle group pages. He's usually one of the first people to reply to all of our stupid questions, and he really knows his shit and is building some of the coolest, wildest stuff that I've seen. So enough with the verbal filleting. Here is my interview with John Gatti, not Gotti, Gatti, of Gatti's Garage fame. All right, well, start out, give me your name, age, location.
My name's John Gatti. I am 42, and I live in Lake Worth, Florida.
Okay. Your last name, Gatti?
Is Gatti, yeah. G like the mobster.
Well, yeah, see, I thought his was Gotti.
It is, yeah. That's what I was. It's like, but with A instead of an O.
Because when I'm pretty sure I watched one of your YouTube videos and you pronounced it like that, but after seeing you on the groups and stuff, I always pronounced it Gotti in my head. And you
Yeah,
said that, I'm like,
everybody does. I think just because they, that's what
yep.
everybody in their mind. It's just comes to that. I mean, down here is 75% of the people are from New York, so
Yeah, I'm like, oh shit, I've been saying it wrong in my head this whole time.
yeah, that's all right. Everybody does. I quit correcting people. I just whatever.
Just whatever. You've been
Yeah,
called worse by better people, right?
I'm sure. Yeah.
All right, man. So this podcast is pretty motorcycle centric, but I'm into cars and stuff too. And judging by your Instagram, you are too.
Yeah, I actually hate cars.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's cars are a business thing.
Yeah.
They make money. They're big money to build, and they're long projects, so they're good for business, but it's not my thing. I have a guy that pretty much does most of the car work, luckily for me now.
Oh, that's cool.
That works in the shop, and I pick up the slack on stuff. But yeah, cars are cool and all, but just building cars is not my thing. It's too long of a process, and there's just too much involved. It's becomes frustrating, and the project's not enjoyable for me.
Right. I understand that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, when and how did you get into motorcycles?
I mean, I've been in motorcycling since I was a kid, riding dirt bikes and all that stuff. When I started driving, I got into drag racing and started drag racing motorcycles. Me and my dad, and like anybody, you start drag racing, you want to go faster. I was a broke kid; I had no money, so I had to start learning how to do everything myself because I couldn't. Drag racing is a rich man's game. if you
Right.
can't if you can't do the work yourself. So that was kind of how I got into it on the hobby end. And I was working as a cop and I hated it. In 2003, I started that. I had worked in a buddy of mine's bike shop when I was in college, building drag bikes and stuff. And then I got that job because it, seemed like a good move, government job, pension, blah, 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 blah. And after a few years of that, I was like, this is not going to work for me for the next 25 years. And so I'm from New Orleans originally, and I was actually looking for businesses for sale in New Orleans online one night, like in the middle of the night, like, how am I going to get out of this deal? And I stumbled upon this bike shop for sale in Wellington, which was like 10 minutes away from where I was living at the time. And it just kind of worked out. I ended up taking over this bike shop in '06, so almost 17 years.
Oh, wow. So your bike shop originally was in Louisiana?
No, in Wellington, in Florida. I was living in Florida already. I've been in Florida since I was a kid, like
Gotcha.
11 years old. Yeah.
Gotcha. All right. So did your dad ride then? Is that kind of
My dad always rode from the time, well, as soon as my dad rode dirt bikes as a kid also. And then actually his first bike, him and his buddy bought and kept it at a third dude's house, when they were like 12, because none of them were supposed to have it, I guess. And so because of that, when I was a kid, he always encouraged, he allowed me to have dirt bikes and stuff because he figured I'd get one anyway.
they just didn't want you hiding it from him like he did, huh?
And then when my mom and dad got divorced, he instantly bought a bike and had bikes the whole entire rest of his life. So I probably rode 40,000 miles on the back of the bike with him from the time I was about 9 until I quit riding with him when, I don't know, maybe I was 14 or something.
Yep.
So yeah, my dad always rode.
Nice. And then so when you quit riding with him, did you get your own bike?
Yeah, I started riding when I was 16. Had a 70 or a 1980 dual overhead cam CB750F was my first bike. And,
Nice.
that was what I started drag racing and worked our way up. We eventually had a Outlaw Pro Street drag bike, GS 1150 base Suzuki, but it was a 1640 cc's, big giant like pro mod motor, nitrous, small tire drag bike, like low sevens.
Holy shit.
Yeah, it was fast. I mean, for the time, now they're going way faster on street bikes, but for the time, it was the fastest no bar bikes in the world. Our class. Even back then, I weighed 240 pounds, so I was never super competitive because it was a weight limit bike and rider, and our bike was super light. But these guys that weigh like 125 pounds.
Yeah, they're probably all 5'2" and 110 pounds.
They're like jockeys,
Yeah,
and a lot of chicks, started coming in because they're super lightweight, and so it's the nature of that kind of racing. So and then once I got the shop, the racing kind of just dwindled away because time was not there anymore.
Yeah, speaking of your shop, give me the rundown of your shop, because when I first, I'm a member of a couple of Facebook groups that you're also a member of, the Garage Built, the Honda Shadow forums and whatnot.
Yeah.
But when I first, your name kept popping up, you'd always answer people's questions in the Shadow groups. So I just assumed that you were Shadow guy, kind of like Casa or Justin Alexander. But then I started following your Gaddy's Garage account and noticed that you build pretty much fucking everything.
Yeah. I don't know how those guys can do it, like from a business point of view. I've always thought, oh man, it'd be so great to like specialize in one thing, because you could have inventory for like if you're only working on one bike, you could have everything at hand. And I mean, we literally work on anything. I mean, right now I have a 2022 Road Glide and a 1925 JD in the shop.
Holy shit.
And everything in between. And I mean, that's the only way I know how to stay in business. Like I just don't get how these guys are able to do it. I mean, I'm jealous, really, but it just has never made any sense to me to turn away. Like, I don't care if it's got a motor, I can fit, so, and at the end of the day, it's a business. It's how I feed my family. And, so the stuff I build for myself is where I get to really get my enjoyment. The rest of the stuff I build whatever anybody wants to pay for.
Yeah. As long as they got cash, right?
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of the nature of it. Like I'm building a bike right now for a guy that's a copy of a bike that he found online, and the guy who I guess owns the original bike got all bent out of shape, and like he showed up at my shop. Why would you do that? I'm like, because I'm operating a business here and the dude's paid.
Because the check cleared.
Yeah, like I don't know what to tell you, And I mean, I'm like, dude, how many Captain America replicas have been built? How many Harley Davidson in the we just did a paint job for a guy 3-4 months ago, a Harley Davidson in the Marlboro Man paint job for this guy's FXR. Like, that's just the way it goes. I built a bike maybe 12 years ago. It's a CM400 Honda, little side-by-side twin. It's got this weird like radius backbone and radius rear end, like super stretch kind of drag bike looking. And I sold it to a guy. Business was bad. I needed money. And the dude built like 1,000 copies of it. I'm sure you've seen them. If I can't think of the guy's name, but they're everywhere.
Really?
And, I mean, like, people can always copy what I already did. So I don't really sweat that. I was like past that as far as what I was doing anyway. So, hey, build all the copies you want,
Right.
I try not to worry about that stuff, but it just was kind of funny how bent the dude got, like, and it's not a bike I would ever build. It really is not,
Yeah,
I mean,
not anything like unique or special to begin with. So
did he build it himself? Is that why he was so pissy about it?
Somebody else built it.
Oh,
yeah. So that's that's even,
like being pissed off if you got a black Harley because there's other black Harleys,
Yeah. So I kind of like basically threw him out of my shop. So,
Oh,
but yeah, so we'll work. I mean, we just work on it. I mean, we do a lot of service work. That's our primary, there's no money in building custom bikes.
yeah.
Really. You know what I mean? Like, there's so few people who, can't afford it or will spend that amount of money that, I mean, the best money you make is changing oil and changing tires. It's in and out as fast, but I enjoy the custom bikes. And so I do those to make doing the other crap worthwhile.
Yeah.
So
what was the first bike that you built?
Besides drag bikes,
Either, any bike.
the first bikes I built was drag bikes.
Yeah.
I had 4 or 5 of those dual overhead cam Hondas early on. They made 750s, 900s, 1100s, and always like pro street bikes, long swing arm, but still a street bike. Street tires, lights, but real stripped down stuff. My first like custom chopper was a shovel head, scratch built chopper. I built it before I had the shop. Trying to think what the name of that company was. They were like in South Dakota that built the frame. Twisted Choppers, maybe. It's like a drop seat pro, 240 tire.
So one of the like early aught style big fat tire bikes.
Yeah, it was a 240 tire, and I scratch built a air ride Springer, so it was no kickstand, laid frame on the ground, and it was a cool bike. I'd like to find it. I don't know where it is, but it was like before phone camera. Like I have a few pictures like that were print, like from Eckerd's or whatever, and that's all I have, because they're just I built that probably 2002 in my dad's garage.
Wow.
But it was a cool bike. I'm sure I'd be embarrassed if I saw it now, but
Hey, everyone's got to start somewhere, right?
Oh yeah. It's funny because I have a couple bikes. I have a customer that I've built. It's him and his wife, and I've built several custom bikes for them. And like she still has the first one. She was actually it was the first custom bike I ever built for someone, like a commission, my first ever commission build. And it's a cool bike, but I look at it now and it's like, I could just do so much better. That was 08. I think I started that bike. So it's just,
What was it?
XS 400. It was kind of in the similar vein of that CM I was telling you about. I did a bunch of bikes like kind of in that similar style, like 4 or 5 different bikes. Long stretched out frames, no fenders, a lot of them had bare metal gas tanks with like a wild color painted frame. So it was, it's a cool bike, but it's just, I look at, what I'm doing now and it's just, I mean, that's what I always say. The next bike's always the best, hopefully.
Hopefully.
Yeah. I'm still, still learning stuff. I mean, that's just kind of how I try to do it, so.
So how did you acquire these skills? Like, was your dad a fabricator, or did you like go to school for this? Or
dad was a plant pathologist.
A what?
Yeah. He did plant disease diagnosis. No, I don't know. I wanted to do stuff. So like, I just really kind of, self-taught. I worked with a friend of mine when I was in college, at his shop, and I picked up some stuff there, and I'm super mechanical. Like I can watch somebody do something and kind of pick it up if I pay attention to what they're doing. That's, just always kind of coming to me. When I wanted to build that shovel head, I went and bought a welder and sat in the garage and welded junk together until I thought it was good enough, and then I built the bike.
Huh.
It's that stuff comes easy to me. I mean, like I'm not a machinist, but I can run machines. It's all just mostly through trial and error. Like if I want to learn how to do something, I'll buy a piece of equipment and then sit down and learn it. You know, I figure, you know, if they can do it, I can do it. It's, you know, there's nothing. Now I wouldn't consider myself a machinist. I wouldn't really even consider myself a welder. I mean, I can, you know, there's plenty of guys, you know, like any of them. I always say, like, I'm kind of an all around guy, but there's a million guys that smoke me and everything, but they can only usually do one thing. You know, this badass welders or incredible machinists or, you know, sheet metal guys that all they do is shape sheet metal. I mean, all those guys smoke me, but they can usually only do one aspect.
Yeah.
So it's just, that's really, again, like the guys that work on one kind of bike, it'd be awesome to like hone your skills in one specific area. But I never had that luxury. I worked by myself for about the first 12 and a half or 13 years. So I had to pretty much pick it up, you know.
Yeah.
Been in the last few years. My painter's been with me the longest, doing all the paint and body work. I think of maybe coming up on 4 years now. And then my mechanic, he's only been with us for a few months. It's nearly impossible to find anybody to work.
Yeah, no shit.
You know, so that's been a real struggle. But now a buddy of mine's girlfriend was looking for a job, so she's kind of running our office now. So like stuff's really starting to kind of come together in the last 6 or 8 months as far as like staffing, which is cool. Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. So did you used to paint everything yourself then too?
Yeah, I mean, I would say I hate painting. Like, I'm painting, I hate body work. I don't have the patience for it, or so I would, you know, but farming stuff out is a terrible mess too because you lose control, you know. So we try to farm out as absolute bare minimum as we have to nowadays. Really, about all we farm out is like cylinder boring, you know, so like real super specialized engine machine work if we're building an engine, chrome, which is another nightmare, and on occasion some polishing, but we do a lot of our own polishing, just depending on what the parts are. But other than that, we do everything in house now.
Yeah, easier to keep track of it and control it like that.
Yeah, you know, budget wise, you know, and all that kind of stuff, you know. So it's just, and it's worked out well doing it that way. So, and like painting, especially like with the car stuff, nobody will even hardly take those jobs. Like most of the body shops want to change bumpers, you know, so doing like a full paint, you know, restoration paint job on like a 40 Chevy, it's nearly impossible to find somebody who will even do it.
Really?
Yeah, it's because it's a shitload of work.
Yeah.
You know, it's an incredible amount of work, and they can make more money changing bumpers and, you know, stuff like that from, you know, collision work. So I mean, I get it. It's the same deal. Like I said, like, you know, changing oil is the best money. You know, $100 and you just roll them in and out. Nothing can really go wrong. You know,
I could fuck up an oil change. I know I could.
Well, yeah, so can a lot of people, I guess. Luckily for me, but no, it's just the quick cash flow in and out jobs, you know, and the body shops are the same way. You know, they don't want to, you know, it takes, I mean, to do like one of these car restoration paint jobs takes, you know, my one guy, you know, 8 to 10 months.
Oh, wow.
You know, so they don't want to deal with all that. You know, I mean, it's putting it together, taking it apart, putting it, you know, frame off, frame back. I mean, it's, you know, it's a huge deal. And there's just very few people who, at least by us, I'm sure maybe in other areas, but by us, there's hardly anybody who will take it on.
Gotcha.
So, yeah, we send upholstery work out too.
Oh.
But other than that, I don't do seats. We, you know, but I have a good guy local to us I can drive to. So
Upholstery guys are probably worth their weight in salt, though, right?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, when they're good. I mean, the bike stuff you can kind of get away with a lot because it's just a real simple seat. The cars, especially, yeah. I mean, some of these real high end cars, you need somebody that's, But this guy's been doing it. I don't know. He's got to be nearing 60. His dad had an upholstery shop in Texas, so he's been doing it for forever. That's one of my biggest worries. All these guys, even the guys that work for me, everybody, they're all way older than I am. So I don't know what I'm going to do. Like, I don't know what I'm going to do when they're tired of doing this.
Well, I think you posted in one of the groups that you were looking for somebody not too long ago.
Yeah, we're always looking. Yeah.
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 You pay moving fees?
Do I pay moving fees? I mean, I would for the right person.
Florida sounds real nice in the winter.
Yeah, let me tell you, it's not nice right now.
No.
I bet I don't know what it's 7:30. I bet the feels like temperature right now outside is like 99.
Oh shit.
Yeah, it's brutal hot. These last really few weeks, but it'll be hot like this. It's miserable here. I don't really know why anyone lives here. 5 degrees on Christmas.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like 100% humidity. It's I don't know.
So
it's pretty miserable.
Any plans to relocate the shop then?
Well, I have a daughter who's just turned 6, so not for the next 12 years.
That's why I'm staying in Indiana. I got I got 6 years left on my sentence with the baby mama. So
yeah. So, but I don't know. Maybe I think about moving. I actually would like to stay in Florida, but I'd like to move to the Panhandle because they at least get seasons. Like it's brutal hot there now, but they still get like a fall and a winter.
Yeah, but aren't all the Florida man stories from the Panhandle all those crazy stories?
Oh, probably, yeah. Tampa. I feel like a lot of those wackos live in Tampa. That's on the like on the West Coast. But yeah, no, it's kind of quiet up there. If you get like between I-10 and the Alabama line,
gotcha.
You can buy acreage and stuff still for like almost no money.
Huh.
So maybe one day we'll see. My girlfriend hates the cold, so I don't know if she'll go anywhere.
Yeah, I don't blame her there.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. When did you decide it was time to open up your shop? You said you bought a shop actually?
I did, yeah. So there was a guy had a shop, and I don't know, the story I got was obviously not the true story, but yeah, so I ended up buying a already operating shop. So I walked in on day one with work to do. It was nothing like what he did. He basically did tires and oil changes. So I don't know, maybe he's smarter than I am, but yeah, so it was, it was still worthwhile, I think, in the fact of, you walk in on day one with jobs to do, and it wasn't a tremendous amount of money. And so I stayed, that was in Wellington, which is like west of where I live. I stayed there for about 3.5 years, and then I moved. The economy was starting to crumble in 2009. And so I moved to a little tiny shop down the street from where our shop is now to try and like ride out the economy. And it worked out because I met the guy who owns the building that I'm in now at that time. And it just, so it was the right move. And now we've been in this shop, God, I guess 12 or 13 years. And it's a freestanding building. We have a parking lot and, just
How
over
big?
4,000 square feet. So
I was gonna say 4,000. That's a decent sized shop.
yeah, it's it seemed huge when I moved in there, but now it's like, all right, we need 5 feet on the floor to put this. Where can we do it? So
I got a big 3-bay garage here. When I moved in, it was like, oh, I've got all this room, and then it's
fill it up. Yeah,
I've got a pathway through it now. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's crazy. I I used to live in I live in a townhouse now. In my old house, I had a 2-car garage with a 2-car carport. And I was like, yeah, this is going to be awesome. But man, you put a toolbox and a workbench and, you run out of space quick. And, I tend to accumulate tools. So if I find a old tool for cheap, like equipment and stuff, I buy it. So I'm always trying to upgrade from what I have. And it's just like, there's just nowhere to put anything else anymore. We've exhausted everything. Like to the point where I have almost all my bikes outside. Like that's how bad it is. Like in a pop-up tent. Like, so, yeah.
Any plans to expand anytime soon then?
I would love to move, but I have like the cheapest rent in the world, so it would almost be stupid to leave. And the commercial real estate market down here is absolutely insane right now. So no, there's just no feasible way unless I just basically wanted to like pay a landlord every dime I make.
Yeah.
It would like quadruple my rent probably or more. So for now, we'll stay put and we make it work. We just,
just kind of a pain in the ass.
Yeah, we roll bikes in and out every day, that kind of stuff. But it's, luckily, I used to do all that shit by myself. Now I really don't have to do it anymore. The guys do it. So it's kind of their problem now.
So would you say that it's owning your own shop? Is it difficult? Like what's the hardest part about owning your own shop other than running out of room?
Dealing with the customers.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's difficult. I don't know. It can be extremely rewarding. But it takes every bit of you, just from, dealing with the customers and managing people's expectations. And I feel like, unfortunately, and for good reason, so many people go into a shop like expecting the person to try to screw them over or something like that. And with good reason, from the things I've seen over the years, that there are unfortunately a ton of shithead mechanics who do try to screw people over either intentionally or just from not being qualified to offer the jobs they're offering, whatever that may be. And so I think that dealing with that, and to me, like, I've been doing this for 17 years. It's all I really know how to do. I'm going to keep doing it. Like, I'm not interested. A lot of guys I know are interested in like, I'm going to get you in and I'm going to get as much money from you as I can get now and then find the next guy. I want you to keep coming for the next 25 years. I have the first customer I ever had. Guys still come. Yeah. And tons of customers like that. I've never done any advertising except for like social media, if you even call that advertising. That's all word of mouth. I have many, many customers I've built 2, 3, 4 bikes for, or 2 or 3 or 4 cars for. And that's how, to me, that's what I want. And so I guess kind of breaking the ice with the people, getting a level of trust with them, is can be difficult in the beginning, I think, when people kind of come in, I think, on the defensive a lot of times. And not that they're even wrong, because I have a car in my shop right now. The guy had this guy rebuild the motor for him, and then he brought the motor, or got it put in, and the thing's been overheating. Well, we pulled the heads. The motor is, number one, not rebuilt. The cylinders weren't even bored. The head gaskets were on backwards.
Oh, shit.
So it's a total mess. This guy is a guy I know. I've done business over the years. So, but a lot of people, they have this mentality. Well, I just paid all this money. Well, you didn't pay it to me.
Yeah.
We don't rebuild car motors anyway. For this, they're a nightmare, and you can buy crate motors for less money, and they come with a warranty. So I don't even mess with that stuff. for this very reason. But that kind of stuff I think is probably the most difficult. When in 2009, I probably would have told you the most difficult part was getting customers. But I was lucky then. I was single. I had a cheap mortgage, and I just wrote it out. And I knew that all the bike shops that had popped up during the American chopper boom, as I call it, would all mostly be gone if I could make it through, because those guys were money guys. And when the money guys start losing money, they're out and on to the next trendy business.
Yep.
So, but yeah, I mean, overall it's good. And now, having a good crew where I can, kind of pick and choose what I want to do,
Delegate.
delegate. And, all right, we got these 3 jobs. Well, I'm going to do this that I want to do, and you guys can handle this crap I don't want to deal with. So that has made it that much more enjoyable, obviously. And then as you start to make more money, it makes it more enjoyable, when it's not a constant struggle, which inevitably it is at times. And I'm sure, unfortunately, probably will be again.
Yeah. That's,
so
nature of the beast. It's a cycle up and down.
Yeah. The popularity of stuff, I don't see many young guys, again, just like my guys that do my stuff for, most of my customers are all older than me too.
Well, that's probably partly because you're in Florida too. That's God's waiting room right there.
Yeah, but there's tons of young guys here. But I mean, there is a lot of older people here, so that's for sure. And I think it's probably, I guess it's an economic thing too. How many guys in their 20s, have expendable money to be spent,
Yep.
It's hard enough, paying rent and stuff these days, I guess. So I'm sure that's part of it. But we used to do, a decent amount of sport bike work, just repair. I never see people with sport bikes anymore.
Really?
Just hardly ever, because I just don't, that's kind of like the young kid stuff, and I just don't think they're riding as much anymore. They buy Groms and shit, those little Hondas.
Yeah. I'd love to have a Grom.
You see 40 of those guys riding together around here. Yeah, big packs of them and stuff. But that's, I guess, what they can afford to buy. And I'll work on almost anything, but I got to draw the line somewhere.
They can't be that hard to work on.
They're not. I've done a few. They're actually super easy to work on. I've done a few, but it's almost like a moped, and that's just. Right. But no, I'd work on a Grom before I work on a dirt bike.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, or a 4-wheeler.
You got a dirt bike in your shop. I'm going to talk about here in a minute.
Oh yeah.
But before we get to that one, you're building a pro street style Shadow 750 for Fuel Cleveland.
Well, we're not going.
You're not going?
I pulled the plug. We're not going.
Oh man, what happened there?
It's just too far, and I just don't have the time.
Really?
We were gonna. Yeah, it's like a 2-day drive. We're all the way down south in Florida, and so it was gonna be cool. I'm building the bike anyway.
Yeah.
But it was going to be too much. We were going to try and make the run, drive all night. And I was like, what are we doing, man? So my buddy that was supposed to be going with me, he works a regular job and he's out of vacation days. And it was just too many things.
Wrong.
Yeah. Too many things are not going right. And so I just said, all right, so yeah, unfortunately we're not going to make that show.
But they, you were an invited builder, right?
Yeah, I was, but I got a hold of them and just let them know what was going on. And so I don't know if they have limited spots or whatever, but quite a while ago, we kind of made this call and I let them know just so they could fill the spot if it was I don't know if it was or not. So, and the guy was really said, well, maybe hopefully next year or something. So
cool. Go ahead.
It's just such a far ride for us to go anywhere. That's the other thing that kind of really it's 5 hours to get out of Florida.
Oh, damn. So yeah, you're way down.
Yeah, we're in Fort Lauderdale, basically.
Holy shit.
Yeah. We're about as far south as you can go. We're like 180 miles to Key West.
Okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, we're maybe less, maybe 150 miles. I mean, we're way south.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So what was the process like of getting invited? Like, did they just call you out of the blue and say, "Hey, we want you to build a bike for the show"?
No, they I was building another bike that I thought maybe would be, so I emailed some pictures of that bike, and they weren't interested in that bike, and then I get, but they said, "Well, what about this other bike? You've been more, so you kind of like you submit, but that, like, it's the bike I actually submitted, they weren't interested in because they already had X amount of shovel heads, and I think they do really a good job, those guys in particular, of trying to mix it up a lot, so that it's not 50 shovel heads.
Yeah.
So
they had obviously been following you and paying attention to the shit you've been doing. If they knew
I
about
guess so. They, you send them an email and then they look on Instagram. I don't know if they follow me or not. They might. So, but yeah, most of that invited builder stuff is all through submission, from what I've found.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So with the Pro Street, it's a 750 Shadow, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you? See, I'm more familiar with the 600 Shadows. Is there a lot of motor mods you can do to those, or to?
Well, you can do any kind of motor mod you want, but I'm not really doing any motor mods at all.
No.
No.
Just the look?
It's not going to be fast. Yeah, it's completely all just styled after a Pro Street bike, basically.
Gotcha.
It's just not worth the money to. I mean, you could make it fast, but it would never, would never be really fast. So it's just the styling. It's just like a chopper, basically. Just, it's just that's my favorite style of bike. That's what I grew up with, drag race. So that's always been what I like, long stretch swing arm, stretch tail,
I was going to ask you about that because there's an orange, I think it's a CB750 you got on Instagram.
Yeah, that was my first bike.
Yeah.
Well, several renditions of it, but yeah.
And that's, I think the caption under it said that was the style of bike that you really like building. And that's, you don't hear that from guys a lot, that a Pro Street style bike is really the style that they like to build, nor, like you said, shovelhead apes, 1821, right, whatever.
Yeah. To me, it's the different stuff. I like that you can't buy anything to put on that bike and you have to make everything.
Yeah.
So that's what I enjoy doing, is making parts and making cool stuff, making different stuff work. So, I mean, I could build a shovelhead chopper in a week. You order all the shit in and slap it together.
Yeah. Lowbrow, you can pretty much build a whole bike from their website.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah. I mean, you used to be able to buy, like, during the big chopper boom, you could buy like chopper in a box. And it was literally every piece came in a box and you bolted it together.
Yeah. The kit bikes.
A custom chopper, So
built it yourself.
I built tons of shovel. I just built a shovelhead, I don't know, 3-4 months ago. We finished it up. I have a stock 78 shovelhead. They're really cool. I have a shovelhead tattoo on my arm. So I don't hate shovelheads by any means. It's just, it's very hard to build any kind of, Harley chopper and have it be something unique.
Yeah.
Because it's all been done a million times. Guys are still doing it. Every now and then you'll see something that's like super exceptional, but they're all basically the same.
Have you heard of Josh? I'm gonna fuck his last name up. Boggs, I think, of Steel City Blacksmithing.
Yeah.
He just sent me
he's a kid, right?
He's what?
Is he a young kid?
Yeah, he's like 29 or 30.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping to have him on here in a couple weeks or so. But he sent me a picture today of a bike that he built where he actually split the tank in half, and he twisted some bars and hollowed them out and had two separate. It's
I
crazy.
saw he auctioned off a Sportster, I think. I'm pretty sure this is the same kid, and it was all twisted, the frame and shit.
Yep. Yeah,
and it was
yeah.
really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of guys building really cool shit, for sure. It's hard to make them, as unique as something like that you've never seen before, like a Pro Street Shadow.
Right. Yeah. The Pro Street. Yeah, you definitely don't see that. And that's when I had seen that you were going to Fuel Cleveland and that's what you were doing. I was like, okay, well, that's different.
Yeah, you don't see many Pro Street. I mean, like you'll see some KZ1000s. There's kind of a little bit of a following with like Pro Street KZ1000s. But that's really, I mean, you just don't see them. I don't know. Maybe I'm the only one who likes them, but
so Fuel Cleveland, are you really familiar with that show? Because I just heard about it this year.
Yeah, I've never been, but I followed them for quite a while. It started out, they used to do it in this really cool building. I don't know if it was like, looked like some kind of abandoned warehouse, like in downtown Cleveland. And it was all indoors, but it's been going on it's got to be more than 10 years now, I bet. And so they moved to like this big farm. So it's all outdoors now, and they're having like vans, and they do a lot of cool shit like with art, and it's a pretty big show from what I understand. I mean, I follow it along on social media, that's basically it. I don't know the guys or anything.
So is it kind of like a Born Free or a Mama Tried where it's
I think that's kind of Born Free-ish.
Yeah.
But and it's 2 days this year. This might be the first year it's 2 days.
Well, those type of shows seem like they're becoming pretty popular. I went to Mama Tried this year, and that's the first time I'd ever been.
Indoors still, right?
Indoors?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's February in Milwaukee. It's fucking cold.
Oh, okay, yeah. So, yeah, I mean, shows are I don't know, shows are an interesting thing. Like, as far as I know, like, Fuel Cleveland is in no way a judged show.
Yeah.
From what I understand.
Well, Mama Tried the same way. I don't think they had any awards.
Exactly, yeah, which to me is, because bike show stuff, man, is like, it's a brother, it's the cousin-in-law.
Yeah.
Shit, for the most part, there's a few probably real reputable shows. Some of I don't even know if they're doing it anymore, but AMD used to do the World Championships in Sturgis. And so that was all built. You had to submit to get in, and then it was everybody in the show got one vote. So it was all judged by the other guys. Because, I mean, these guys judging bike shows, they don't know what the hell they're looking at, half of them.
Right.
So, they're, the paint's shiny and the guy wins, so it's, I mean, there's shows here, like every weekend somebody has a show here somewhere. And I've just kind of basically given up on all that mess.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like Fuel, like I said, like that's more of like a display. And it has a huge following, so that kind of stuff is worthwhile. But all these little shows, I mean, I throw the trophies out. I don't know where to put them.
Right, you're running out of room in your garage for your shop.
We can hang on the wall, otherwise I can't keep it. So, but yeah, to me, if I could go and promote and maybe pick up a customer, that's what I'm worried about.
Yeah,
more than
just getting your name out there more.
Which those big events I feel like are probably worthwhile for that,
Yeah, absolutely.
But I mean, we have Daytonas close to us. I mean, there's But even yeah. I mean, I haven't been. I'm literally, I don't know, 150 miles from Daytona. I haven't been to Daytona in 10 years, probably.
My parents went when I was a kid, like shit, I want to say like 94 or whatever.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I've never been into the parties. Like I've been to Sturgis, but I was there 2 weeks before the rally because I don't.
That's what I always say. I'd rather go when the rally's not going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't. I like motorcycles, but there's some guys that ride motorcycles that are just there to get fucked up and act fucking stupid. Which okay.
Yeah, I always say I like motorcycles, but I'm not a biker. You know what I mean? Like, not, hey, if that's what you're, like, that's just not who I am,
Right.
So I mean, I like building bikes more than I even like, more than I like riding.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's a buddy of mine. He just always fucks with me because I have in my trailer 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bikes that are like 99% finished. And I've never ridden any of them.
All personal bikes?
Yeah. And I just don't care because the project is over. So I just roll it like I'm ready to, because I like building them.
Yeah.
What are you building this for? Just another one to sit around? I'm like, yeah, that's what I'm
cool.
Yeah. I don't know. That's the enjoyment to me is the creating. The riding is like, whatever, if I'm going to ride, I'll go ride my Victory that's got, cruise control and a radio, and is comfortable. Why don't, I don't know, just not, it's just, for me, it's the creativity and the making stuff more than riding it. The riding it is just, secondary.
Sense.
Yeah. I mean, there's fun shit to ride. I mean, for me, I don't think you can beat a Shadow 600 bobber for a fun bike to ride.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, it's like riding a 10-speed bicycle, like they're so like that to me is, I have one in my shop. I just finished up for this girl. It is the most fun. I mean, and it's like nothing. It's super simple, I mean, little, like 10-inch apes, bobber fender. It's not even a welded frame. It's got the strut in it. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
But it just fires right up, runs great. And, for like ripping around town, I don't think you can beat that.
No, the Shadow, that's the first bike that I've built, and I love it. It looks, I look ridiculous on it. I'm like 6'2", 250, so I look.
I'm sure I look. Yeah.
I just swallow the bike, but that's with my fat ass on it. It won't go. It hit 70 once, I think, and it was just screaming. It was pissed.
Oh yeah.
But like you said, for
get up to 70 quick. That's what I like. That's how I find. I mean, I weigh 280.
Oh shit.
Yeah. So, but I mean, they're just, to me, they're super fun, man. I mean, you can't. It's hard to. It's like a Sportster. Like guys that shit on Sportsters all the time, I laugh. Like that's one of the most fun bikes there is to ride. A little Sportster bobber.
That's hopefully the next one I'm gonna build. Sporty.
Yeah. I got a couple. Come get one.
Oh yeah. you got them already built though?
No.
Okay. I was gonna say, yeah, I want a stock one. So
yeah.
make me a deal on it. That'll give me an excuse to come to Florida.
Yeah, I got quite a few. We'll dig one out of this shit.
Okay. So you said earlier that you hate dirt bikes. But then
I don't hate dirt bikes. I hate Kickstarters.
Okay. But then I'm cruising through your Instagram. It was either today or last night when we were talking about setting this interview up, and I was just cruising through, and I looked, and I swear it was a shovel head at first, and I read the caption that it was an iron head motor. In what is it, like was it a Yamaha YZ250 something?
Yeah, so it's a iron head frame and motor, and we took.
It's a frame too.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So it's an iron head frame, and we took the complete front end and the complete rear end and the monoshock and everything from a YZ250 and are melting them together.
And this is for a customer?
Yes.
Yeah. Why?
Yeah.
Why?
Because I guess
His check cleared, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Why not? Yeah. I mean, because he had a bunch of Ironhead shit.
Okay. Yeah, I saw that and I was like, I mean, that's cool to say that you did it, but I would assume that that's got to weigh like a shit ton. Like you're not going to take that off road. I mean, yeah, I guess you could, but
Yeah, that remains to be seen. I mean, yeah, it's heavy as shit. I mean, an Ironhead Sportster motor must weigh 300 pounds.
yeah.
I mean, they weigh a fucking ton. I mean, the frame's not that heavy. But yeah, I don't know. It's still welded to the table. So I don't know. I'm curious to see what it feels like because I mean, it is tall, like full, like 15 inches of suspension travel, like a dirt bike. So it will be quite interesting. It's going to be a street, it's going to have lights and all that shit. It's more going to be a street bike, I think. And I mean, again, is the guy ever going to ride it? Who knows? I mean, he's got like 30 bikes. So probably, very little riding, I would suspect.
Yeah.
But
I saw that. And
some people seem to love that thing. I don't know. I mean, it's cool. It's something different.
It's unique.
So, I'm like, hey, could you do? Sure. Like whatever. People, they kind of know I'll do any kind of weird shit they want.
I was gonna say, so how many other wild ass things have you built like that?
That might be. I mean, that's pretty bizarre. I've built a couple like board track racer type deals, like with a 45 flathead with like an Evo Softail tranny behind it. Most of the other real kind of weird shit I built for myself.
Yeah.
I did build a CB750 trike chopper for a guy, like with a 25 over Springer front end.
Wow.
And like an old 70s fiberglass body. That was pretty wild. Trying to think what else like really super ridiculous shit I've done. That might be that trike was pretty odd. That might be the weirdest, but the dirt bike is up there for sure. Yeah.
What's the timeline on that? When you think you're gonna have it done and running?
Oh, who knows? I never. I don't ever get involved in timelines.
Yeah.
It just, I mean, it's getting close on the fab. The fab's getting close. I actually was working on it today.
You got the exhaust on it recently, right?
The exhaust is all done. It's pulled back off. It's all full welded. I was working on the right side, like rear set foot control and the shifter arm and all that stuff. So, that's the stuff for me that's why I enjoy that stuff. Cause literally like everything's handmade. Yeah. So like all the foot controls are handmade. Like, I mean, down to like the shifter arm, and I machined the bushing and put a bronze insert in it. And, like doing all that little handmade stuff is what I enjoy doing. So that's why I like the weird shit, because it's hard to justify spending all the time to make that when you could just buy a set of controls.
Yeah.
So, but when you can't, you don't have any choice.
That makes sense.
Yeah, so that's kind of why I like that stuff.
So what are some trends that you're seeing in your area? Like what's a lot of stuff coming into the shop?
Man, the performance baggers.
Is that big down there?
Yeah, and like the what the hell are those? They're not Dynas anymore, because it's that Softail.
Oh, the Lowrider S.
Lowrider S, Lowrider ST. I mean, that's like kind of the new stuff. Other than that, I mean, it's like the same old bagger shit, like that's the majority, street glides and road glides. But yeah, I mean, as far as the custom type stuff, the performance baggers, are really kind of big.
Yeah.
We had a pretty good uptick in like antique Harley stuff going for a while, but I think a lot of those guys have been priced out of that market. The stuff's gotten so expensive. It's just hard for any regular person to afford them, you know?
Yeah, what knuckleheads are going for like 25 grand, some shit like that.
Oh man, if you can find knuckleheads for 25 grand, we'll buy every single one of them.
Oh, really? They're even more than that now?
Oh yeah. I mean, you might pay 25 grand for a motor.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about, just the motor.
Oh. Yeah. They're ridiculous. You know, the average guy can't afford that.
No.
And really, you really wouldn't want to anyway. If you want a knucklehead, buy an SNS knucklehead. It'll actually run and have some power.
Yeah.
You know, so they just, you know, I mean, they're terrible. They're 100 years old, you know.
It's just, I guess, being able to say that you have one.
That's the coolness, I guess. Yeah, but like I have a 93-inch panhead that's, you know, like SNS panhead.
An SNS, yeah.
That thing runs like an Evo. I mean, like, and it looks like a panhead. Why, you know, it's the best of both worlds.
Well, I hear the SNS shovels, the 93 shovels are really good motors too.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah. Yeah. Regular shovel motors are right. They were new enough that they seem to, you know, again, if you know what you know, you don't try and go 80 on the highway.
Yeah.
You know, those bikes, you know, they just weren't designed to do that. You know, the speed limit was 55 when they were making those things. You
Right.
know, so it's like, you know, people just beat the crap out of them. They want to ride them like new bikes. But
I got a shovel in the garage that once I get finished with this other shadow build,
yeah,
I don't know shit about shovel heads, so
yeah, it's basically like a lawnmower.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, what it's an AMF shovel?
Yeah, 71 FLH.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, I pulled it out of a shed. A buddy of mine, he's an older guy, and I tried talking him out of it for years, and he wanted like 8 grand for it, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not paying that for it, man. Sorry.
Yeah.
Then finally, he's like, all right, 3 grand, and I'm like, there you go. So I'm just gonna restore it and turn it back to stock, not chop it or anything like that.
Yeah, I have a 78 that's pretty close, like you know, pretty original.
Yeah.
Bags and stuff, but they're not too great to ride. The brakes, they got banana calipers on it, and 71ers, they got a drum brake still.
It's got drum brakes on it.
Yeah. Those are atrocious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's when my dad saw it, he's like, yeah, most of the guys, they pulled the front brakes off because those drum brakes would lock up and they'd throw you over the handlebars. And I'm like, well, that sounds like a good time.
Yeah. What's it, probably got a juice brake drum in the back?
I have no idea.
It should probably have a hydraulic drum in the back, which actually, I mean, works marginally okay for, you know, but those front drum brakes are, I mean, and the problem with that, a lot of the parts mostly only can get them from V Twin, and they're questionable a lot of times.
Great.
Yeah, so you may, I mean, if you plan on wanting to ride it, you may think about getting a slightly later front end with a disc brake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll just leave them on there for aesthetics.
Some antique Harley guy will pay you a fortune for that front end, probably.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. You're talking about trends in your area. What trends are you sick of seeing?
Cafe racers.
Really?
Yeah, I hate those things. You know what it is? You know, I'm sick of seeing hacked up garage builds.
Okay.
You know, like the internet is an amazing tool. I love it and I hate it at the same time. Add into that the $119 Harbor Freight welder, and it is a recipe for disaster.
Yeah.
And so that stuff, I mean, just so many just ruined bikes.
Well, you're in the Garage Built Cycles Facebook group, right?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah. How many times a week do you see, hey, can I weld my frame together with this 110 welder?
Right. A lot,
Yeah.
and I try to, but then you get like 50 other guys going, oh yeah, those are great. You can weld
Yeah.
so good with it. And I'm like, let's see the welds you laid down with that were good. You know, let's
Let
show,
me
yeah, you
let me
know,
know what
so
bikes you welded together with that, so I don't buy those things.
yeah, I mean, so that is a real problem to me is the just, and I mean, hey, everybody's got to learn somewhere. I'm all for it. Like I said, I'd probably be embarrassed if I saw the shit I built 20 years ago, but just, I don't know. Like, I feel like sometimes, like, and I don't know if it's a generational thing, because I don't know if these guys are young or old, but like, nobody wants to put any much effort. They just want somebody to tell them.
Yeah.
Like, if you don't know if you can use that to weld, you probably can't weld.
That's a very
Right?
good point. Yeah.
Like, have you even tried it out yet to like and welded any to see what like, you know, if you're asking that question, the answer is no, you cannot do it. Could someone? Maybe, but it's not going to be you.
Not you. Yeah, exactly.
Like, but I try to, you know, I am in a ton of those groups, all different kinds. Because sometimes even like I'll get a bike in the shop and it's like some weird shit. And there's a group of guys who like only know anything about 800 Vulcans because that's the only bike they have and they love them. And so sometimes I can hop on one of those groups and be like, hey, I got this bike in here and and they'll be like, oh yeah, Kawasaki had a problem with this year and what, you know. So I'm in a shitload of those groups and I try to, you know, add as much as I take. And it is helpful sometimes to find a guy who's only had that one bike for the last 20 years and he's an expert on that bike. And, you know, he can save me a shitload of aggravation. And so I try to answer people's questions and get, you know, but sometimes it's like, dude, if you're asking, like, you know, like,
No,
can I open somebody's head up with this chainsaw to do brain surgery? Like, sure you could, but you know, I can't do brain surgery. You know, and I guess it just, and that gets into a lot of, like you were saying, you know, the dealings in business, the old, I could do it, but I just don't have the tool guy.
Yeah.
You know, like when they're trying, and I think most of them are their intentions is to make it seem easy because they think it will cost less.
Right.
You know, but that type of stuff just, I don't know. That's what I wish would stop is the guys, you know, and like we don't get in the old, like I hung around bike shops. That's how I learned a lot of stuff. Like if they didn't throw me out, I would stand there and watch. That doesn't happen at all. Like that's how most people learned shit.
Yeah.
And like we don't get that anymore, really. Like we don't get kids coming around, you know.
No,
That's usually what I tell those guys is try and find a local shop and go, you know, don't be a pest, you know, but pop by, you know, and, you know, try to, you know, see if they'll let you hang around a little bit and, you know, then sweep the floor maybe while you're hanging around. You know, stop and pick up a, you know, fucking 6-pack of waters when you're you know, like, and people, I mean, you know, if you're interested, I want to try to help you because it's something that's brought me a lot in my life, you know, not only, you know, financially and being able to make a living, but it's brought me joy. It's brought me entertainment. It's brought me some of the best friends that, you know, I would never have if not for motorcycles or hot rods or mechanics, whatever you know. I mean, aside from one friend who's like, we've been friends since we were kids, every friend I have is because of motorcycles.
Yeah.
You know, and so to me, I want it to continue on. I want to see guys still doing, you know, doing shit the old way, you know, learn how to run manual machines. And I enjoy that aspect of it. And I, you know, other people also. So I just, you know, I think the internet has made a lot of people like semi-isolationist and they just want to, you know, I don't know. Half of them, I wonder if they're even really trying to build anything or if they're just trying to make conversation. You know?
Makes sense, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? I know I see a lot of hacked up bikes for sale on Facebook Marketplace.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I'm going in a different direction. That's
Yeah. Yeah. So so that's the flat black bobber trend I wish would go away. Red wheels and white walls.
Okay, you're talking about my shadow right now. I know that you are. Son of a bitch.
You know why? You know why I hate on that now though? I saw a dude with a Honda Civic, like a 1998 Honda Civic. It was flat black. It had red wheels and white walls, and I was like, that shit is
And it was
now
the coolest. It was the coolest looking fucking Civic ever too.
Yeah. No. Oh, you know what else I hate is the LED like fog light headlights.
Okay. You really are just talking about my fucking shadow right now.
I don't have those too. Do you for the headlights?
Oh no, I've got an LED headlight, but no, I don't have fog lights.
No. I'm talking about like it looks like it's supposed to be mounted on the top of a Jeep.
Okay.
You know what I'm talking
like the light bars?
Yes, but they use that for a headlight. No, an LED headlight is badass. That yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, no, that I don't like. It just doesn't go. I don't know. I feel like it breaks the lines of like what could like a really cool bike and then that.
Didn't you, now that you mention that, didn't you build like a giant rectangle fucking LED headlight for a customer?
No, that was for my bike.
That was for your bike?
Yeah, that was a bit. It was hand cast, a big aluminum housing, and the guys down the street that have the glass blowing studio, we hand blew a glass lens. Yeah.
Okay. So
it looks like
you what?
but it looks like a headlight, not a.
Does it?
Yeah. I mean, to me, I don't know. I'm sure some people hate it. A lot of people hate that bike.
Oh, really?
Oh, they fucking hate it because the gas tank is like a pyramid.
See, I don't remember the gas tank on. I just remember maybe it wasn't you. I don't know. There was
No, it was me.
Was it you? It's almost like it looks like an iPad on the front of the bike.
Oh, no. That was not me.
I don't know. It was
I built a bike. We finished it like maybe 2 or 3 months ago. We got invited to this show in Virginia. It's candy purple. It's a shovel head.
Okay, yeah, I've seen that one.
Polished stainless steel, like Springer handmade shit. But the tank is like I was trying to do something different, like a prism or a diamond tank, that kind of feel. And it ended when I made, I'm like, it looks like a fucking pyramid. So then we kind of leaned into that. And like we called the bike King Tut.
Yeah.
We fucking cast this like undead pharaoh in sterling silver to make the gas cap. It's got like a pinup chick painted on the tank, but it's like a mummy pinup chick.
Nice.
But some people just fucking hate it because the gas tank. I don't care. Sometimes when people hate it, I like it more. That's right. How I know I got it right. But yeah, but that bike, we made it's a rectangular headlight, but it hangs skinny up and down.
So yeah, I think that's it.
But it doesn't look like an iPad. It's all cast aluminum and glass. And it's only about 4 inches wide.
4 inches wide. My damn dogs are driving me crazy.
Yeah. But yeah, no, a lot of people hate that bike. I don't know why. It's got a 26-inch front wheel on it too, which probably pisses people off.
Yeah, that was the one with the LED, up and down. So yeah, you like that?
But LEDs inside of it, you can't see the LEDs.
No,
because it's a big, thick, it's like 3/8 or half-inch thick glass that's all like opaque, like hand blown.
Gotcha.
So the ones that you can see all like 50 LED pods, I don't really care for.
Gotcha. Yeah, the light bar type.
Yeah, the light bar is really what it is. Even if it's an LED headlight, but it's in a headlight housing, even if it's all little individual LEDs in the housing, it's cool. I guess I just don't like it when it's not in a housing. I'm kind of my tradition. Like I don't like what's his name used to build a lot of, and they were cool bikes, but they didn't have a regular gas tank, so they look kind of like a bicycle. The gas tank was like under the seat somewhere. I can't think of his name. He died actually in like a dirt bike accident years ago. Jesse Rook.
Oh shit! I can't put a face to it.
Yeah, but he built some cool stuff. But I want to have a gas tank like in the gas tank spot. I don't know. To me, it just there's certain things like no matter how wild the gas tank is, it still needs to be where it goes. Like to kind of, another guy just built one not too long ago actually with an XS 650, and it looks like a Schwinn.
Really?
It's got like a banana seat and shit on it, like a bicycle. But you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
And it looks really cool, like, but it doesn't really look like a motorcycle because it's got like a little bicycle type girder and like the banana seat with the struts in the back, like one of those Schwinn bikes from the 70s. And it like they did a great job on it, but I don't know. To me, I want it to be at least somewhat kind of classic, I guess. I don't know. It's one of those things, I guess. It's just like you see something, you either like it or you don't.
Right.
Like I'm sure tons of the stuff I built, people are like, this guy's a moron. What the hell, Like I said, I mean, I know for a fact people were angry about that gas tank.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Just on the internet.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, fuck those guys. Like.
Yeah. Nobody's gonna say it to my face. I don't even care. You don't have to like it.
Yeah.
You know what like I build shit sometimes and I'm like I'm like, I don't know if I like it or not. Like sometimes I gotta like even that tank, I had it in my head. And then as I'm building it, I get it up on the bike and I'm like, God, I don't know. Does the shit look stupid? Like I don't, all right, let's go a little further, like keep going. I mean, I've made gas tanks have 25 hours in it and throw them in the trash, because I'm just, it just, it didn't work.
Jesse James had a saying, either it's perfect or it's wrong.
Yeah. And nothing's perfect, but if I don't, I try not to, I definitely, it doesn't always go how I plan in my head. And sometimes that is for the better. And sometimes it's not, a lot of times I have in my head, oh, we got to do it like this. And then as you're doing it, that doesn't work. So you go another way and it's like, man, this shit looks better, I think, than it would have if my idea, which was impossible, would have even worked.
Yeah. Happy accidents.
Yeah, I try to let the bike dictate, what it wants, as much as it can, by work. I like to work, either from the front to the back or the back to the front, when doing fab stuff so that you can, kind of watch it come together and make changes as you go. I can't draw. I'm not like, I can't draw a circle. So I always wish, because like I could see usually the bike in my mind, but I'm on it, so, which I don't know if that would be a benefit or a detriment, because if you could draw it, you might draw it and then try to feel like you have to stick to that draw, especially like with a customer build, if I draw something and show it to you, that's what you're expecting, So
when you do a customer build, like how do you, if you don't have any renderings or anything, how do you lay out? You just kind of get an idea of what they want.
I usually try to get, again, depending on who it is, if it's somebody that we've worked together a bunch, if it's somebody local, usually they're, I try to keep them involved in the project, so they'll come by once a week and, see what we've got going on. A lot of times I'll, send me some pictures of bikes you like, that kind of stuff. I mean, sometimes it's more we're building a bike for a guy in Sweden right now.
Oh, so shit. That's cool.
It's a little bit more difficult. Number one, English isn't his first language. Number two, he's in Sweden. So he can't, but the benefit of the time and the years, a lot of time, we get somewhat free reign on a lot of stuff. I'm able to make the calls on certain things, and they came to us for a reason. So
yeah, well, that's cool if they trust you to do that stuff.
Somebody's real particular, usually it's somebody local, and we, they're along for the ride with us, so that they see, weekly updates or whatever, we can make adjustments as we go. I like doing them like that anyway. I mean, you're building a custom bike. I want you to come sit on it when we're making the foot controls. I want you to sit
build
you're going
it
to all
to
this
them.
trouble. Yeah, you're going to all this trouble. You want it to be what you want.
Yep.
You don't want to get it and be like, man, I can't reach good on this thing or whatever. Like, so I rather have the customer involved. I get actually, like, when somebody's like, yeah, just build whatever you want. I don't enjoy it because I'm always like so stressed out about if they're going to like it or not.
Yeah, because what you want and what they want, odds
right.
are,
And I mean, it works
things.
out okay usually, but yeah, it's, because like I said, I'll see pictures and I talk to them. We'll have in-depth discussions. I have a shitload of other bikes around the shop, so they'll look at this, look at that, that kind of stuff. That helps me get a feel for what they're after, so I'm usually pretty close as to kind of what they're after, and I can generally lead them in the right direction on stuff. And I'll pretty much do anything you want, aside from like safety stuff. Certain shit I just tell people like, hey, it's like this or we can't do it. But only on, like some of these guys that want some like ridiculous long front ends that are, just going to be death traps to ride with the, like I want a low neck and a 40 over fork and, like nah.
Do you turn down big wheel bagger shit?
No.
Oh.
I just built I don't care, dude. They got money. I just did a frame for a guy that lays frame with a 34-inch front wheel.
Jesus Christ.
It looked like a freaking giraffe, the frame. It was so, I don't know what happened to it. I just did the frame and gave it back to him. But yeah, it was ridiculous.
See, really. That's the trend. That's the trend that I hope dies like
yesterday. Wheel baggers?
Yeah.
Okay, so how big is too big though?
Anything over 21 inch. Like I don't even really like 21-inch front wheels. Anything over 21?
No, that looks good. No, on a huge bike.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a 21 on a street glide looks good to me. Like that looks fine. But you put 30-inch.
No, that's too big. Yeah. See, to me, the sweet spot is 23.
Yeah.
On like a road glide, because it's a huge frame. And now again, you got to set the bike up right. There's a lot of like, these guys, they buy bolt on shit and put a 23-inch wheel and the front end's jacked up in the air. And so there's probably as many poorly done big wheel baggers as there is Harbor Freight welded bobbers.
Right.
But I mean, like these guys go to rallies and shit and get this crap bolted on by somebody who they won't be able to find if something goes wrong. But yeah, no, the gigantic wheels like the 32s and the 34s and all that, they're not proportionate, so it kills the look.
And then the swept bags in the back, I
the super
shit.
Yeah. No, now like a lowrider, like a Cholo bike, no bags.
Oh yeah, the Vikla style with the heritage with the apes and the
but like that with like a 23 or a 26, if it's done right and the front end still tucked, looks pretty cool. I have a Shadow 750 with a 23 on the front of it, built like that, long ass, fucking true dual exhaust and super low fenders and air ride and stuff. It's in my trailer. I never rode it.
Oh, geez. I'm gonna come down there and just ride all your bikes, man.
The problem is none of them run because I get them close. And so I'm like, I don't even want to put gas and shit in it because then I'm going to have to keep it running. So I get them like all the way done until you put gas in them, and then I just put them away.
Oh, shit.
Because I had like I have 2 bikes in my garage, and now one of them won't run because it sat too long. Like,
Yeah, that ethanol shit that destroys the.
it's brutal. That's why I have a Victory Cross Country that's like my regular bike. It's fuel injected, so I can get away with a lot more. But I have a KZ1000 police bike. I don't. You'd have to have scrolled back way far. It's like U.S. Navy gray, like World War II flat gray, and it's sort of a big wheel bagger. It's got 23-inch wheel on it, but it's a force, and it was my regular rider for a long time, but it's been sitting in my garage for like 8 months, and now it won't run. And so I just like
those KZ1000s are becoming popular again all of a sudden.
Yeah. Well, the early ones have started to become real collectible. They sold one for $50,000 at Mecum in January, like an original Z1 1973.
Really?
Yeah. So those have gotten, but I all that old inline four stuff is all where I came from. So to me, they're all fun.
Yeah. Oh yeah. All right. So what keeps you passionate?
Oh man, I don't know. I don't know if I am anymore.
No. The money, that's fine.
Yeah, I mean, I hate to say that, but partly, I mean, that's what keeps me getting out of bed every day. Honestly,
I think that's what keeps anyone getting out of bed every day.
It's hard. In the wintertime, I would tell you something different. Like during the winter, I work every day almost. I'll work my regular 5 days, and then I'll work 3 nights and my other 2 days on like my own stuff. But like in the summer like this, I'm so beat. I don't work on my own stuff hardly at all. Try to work a few hours on Saturday just so I can film some stuff to do a YouTube video. But yeah, no, I mean, I still do enjoy creating weird bikes, like custom where somebody goes, man, I never seen anything like that. Like, yep. And you never probably will again because you have to be, you have to be retarded to do it. But yeah, so that, I mean, I really do, like I enjoy the fabrication. That's what, once the fab is done, I can hand it off to the painter, and I wish somebody else would put it together.
Gotcha.
That because the creation is kind of over. You know what I mean? So yeah. It's the creating, and the first time you get, like, I could almost leave them like just all raw, fully fabbed. Like, to me, that's as cool looking as finished almost.
Yeah. Like bare metal, you mean?
Yeah, just bare metal, just frame, all mocked, just all mocked up, no wiring, nothing, but just seeing all, like, the first time you put, like this particular bike, the Shadow that I'm doing now, the Pro Street, like it's got this little tiny chopped up front end on it and a little sport bike wheel. And the first time, like, that it came down off the lift with the long ass swing arm and the tail section all made up and the fiberglass body and everything, just all mounted on there, but just looking like shit. That's to me like the coolest part.
Nice. What advice would you give to an aspiring bike builder other than don't do red rims and white walls?
Well, like a guy who's doing it for a hobby, just
like a new guy, a new builder. What advice would you give him?
Try to find somebody that will share their knowledge with you.
Stay away from the Harbor Freight welders.
Yeah, stay away from Harbor Freight welders if you can. But actually, to be honest with you, I will say those new, whatever the expensive welders at Harbor Freight are now, I'm drawing a blank on what the brand is. Vulcan, maybe.
Okay.
They're Vulcan welders at Harbor Freight, I believe. And you can get like a 180 MIG for like $750 or $800. They're not bad. I've used one and I was really impressed with it. And I actually have 2 their high-end auto darkening welding helmet, which is that same brand, it's like $129. It is almost I wear them more. I have a $500 Miller Digital Elite, and I use the other ones more. So they have stepped up their game as far as they do have some better quality stuff. I still think you'd be better off trying to find a used Miller for your $1,000 than buying that for $1,000. But if you just can't, they are not bad. I had one in my house garage for a while, and it was perfect for doing bike stuff. So I will say that. But yeah, just trying to, try and learn about what you're going to do before you do it, I guess. And
study YouTube and
I mean, there's some good stuff on YouTube for sure there, but I don't know, to me there's nothing. It's like school. Like you go to school for whatever you go to school for 5 years, 8 years, you don't really learn anything until you get out and go do whatever job you went to school for, So like I get a lot of these guys coming out of MMI looking for jobs, and MMI is like, I wish that would go away because the amount of money they charge these guys, and to me, it's just like a super disservice because they don't know, they're not equipped to come and work.
You remember Wyotech?
Yeah.
Wyotech alum right here, buddy.
Oh.
Yeah, waste of money.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, and it's like it really sucks for but so that's what I'm saying. Like you can get on YouTube and all, like, but I feel like that even you, like, you have to have some base knowledge to pick up what's usable on YouTube.
Yeah.
And so if you're like really a super ultra beginner, you got to get with somebody that will share knowledge with you.
Yeah,
or get ready to fuck up a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And I mean that's a great way to it's a great way to learn it, but it can, if you're on a tight budget, it'll set you back, it'll ruin your and then it can also really make for unpleasant experience, and then people tend to give up if they so start with stuff, start with something smaller, learn how to wire, because nobody seems to know how to wire. I have other shops that bring us bikes to wire.
We talked on Facebook in one of the groups once. I hacked up my my Shadow's wiring harness, and you said, why the fuck didn't you just build your own wiring harness? And I was like, because I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, man. And you're like, it's not that hard. And I told you,
Yeah.
I was like, I follow you on YouTube, man. He's like, well, maybe I'll go make a video of that. So I'm still waiting on that YouTube video.
Well, I guess I haven't wired a bike. I haven't wired a Shadow yet. But yeah, it's hard to do but it's not hard. Wire. It's the weirdest thing, and I don't know if it's like people in their mind, like they think it's like electricity, and they're like doing house electric or something, and they're like, I could get electrocuted, or I don't know why so many people don't do it.
I think reading a wiring diagram isn't exactly the easiest thing to do.
Right, but there's so many already made, like chopped down wiring diagrams like that you can find. So then it's literally just like following along. But I don't know. That's something. But I think it's number one, it's a great skill to have in general. But it's something that not a lot of people know, and it's also something that is pretty expensive if you have to have somebody else do it. Because while it's easy, it can be extremely time consuming. And especially to do it right, so
just cutting my harness apart, I think it took me like 5 hours to do, which is ridiculous.
Oh yeah. So yeah, I mean, like even to wire, I mean, a simple wiring job, like a super basic, like chopper bobber wiring job, will take me 6 to 8 hours.
Oh shit.
Like charging system, headlight, tail light, because we solder, we shrink, all it takes time, to route everything, but it comes out it's worth it to me in the end, especially like clean wiring on a bike looks, you know what I mean? Like just makes all the difference.
No, for sure. That's, and like you said, it's a tough thing to do. So when you see it done and it's done right, it's like, oh, okay, you can really appreciate that.
Yeah, but to me, like that would be, learn that kind of stuff before like you're worried about welding. I think that's the fun part, I guess. That's maybe why everybody wants to jump right into that.
Yeah, cutting your frame apart, that's exciting.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, wiring is kind of boring, I guess. So
it's a step that you can see, like you can see your frame cut in half. You do your wiring and then you shrink wrap it and tuck it all back up and away. It's like, well,
looks just like it looked before.
I know what's done there.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, that would be, my thing is just, try and, get a group of guys together. That's one thing that I will say, one of the biggest losses of having a bike repair business or whatever is it's extremely difficult to like separate friendship from like business, and then like, because like to me, like nothing's better than like, all right, one Friday we're gonna come to your house and work on your bike, and then the next Friday we're gonna go over here to Jim's house and work on his, and like have that where like one guy knows how to wire and one guy's a better welder and one guy, whatever. But it's kind of hard. Like, how do I do that and be in business?
Right.
So that's one of the things that I kind of have lost, I guess, by being in business, which is, I mean, it is what it is. But that, if you try and find a group of guys in your area, if you can't find a shop that'll let you hang around.
See, you said that you think that you've lost that with being, a business owner and owning a bike shop. I'm not sure that shit even really exists anymore. I mean, everyone's so, like you said earlier, isolationist and in their house and on their own shit. Like, I work out in my garage damn near every night, and I got buddies that ride and work on bikes, but to get them to come over and hang out in the garage and work on bikes together, it's like pulling teeth.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which,
so I don't, maybe that's just gone, unfortunately,
Yeah.
Which is unfortunate, but I don't know, again, the younger generation, I don't know. I tell people every day, I know the generation, I mean, I don't know how old you are, but the generation before us probably thought we were idiots too, like,
Yeah, I'm 36, so I mean, I'm younger than you, but not by much.
Well, yeah, you know what I mean? So I'm sure it's every generation, like, but it just, I don't know, it's just a different thing, I guess. But again, like the guys I know who do that, mostly I know some car guys that are like, it's not really like a club, like in an organized sense, but like they'll go, work on different guys' stuff, but they're all like in their 60s.
Yeah.
It's a time thing too, I guess, like you got a kid, you got probably a job, a girlfriend or a wife or something, how much spare time do you have,
Yep, that's true too.
So.
All right, man. Well, last question for you.
Yeah.
What's the next big thing to come out of Gaddy's garage?
Oh man, I don't know. We got a couple different things working. I guess the next kind of maybe fun thing is we're trying to give a bike away.
No shit.
Yeah. On our YouTube. So there's a ton of videos on that on there. We built a pretty cool. I had a Shadow 600 that we had used to make a bunch of parts, like some production parts. So I had this bike that was like kind of 3/4 of the way built. And I thought it'd be a good way to get our YouTube channel off the ground. And that has not gone as smoothly as I suspected it would, offering to give away a bike for like literal free. You don't have to do anything except send an email with your name and phone number so we can call you if you win. But it's been, it's been a little more difficult than I thought it would be. But that is going to be kind of big. We got a couple cool bikes coming. This bike I'm doing for the guy in Sweden. Other than that, we're just, plugging away, man. Same old stuff. Just, trying to build some unique stuff. There's nothing really cool like that. We're getting ready to start in the pipeline right now. Just some regular stuff going on. We got a little bobber we're getting ready to start on, but just like basic kind of stuff. Nothing really super unique. I have a couple when this shadow's done. If I have any motivation left in me, I have a couple of different projects waiting in the wings. Some kind of weird shit. I'm not really sure what I'm going to do there yet, though. But yeah, so trying to give this bike away, hopefully. But
well, hell yeah, I'm going to send you an email with my phone number on it then. So see if I can win a bike.
Gotta watch the video on YouTube. It's a special email address.
Okay, yeah. I'm subscribed to you guys. I'll hop on.
Oh well, you must have seen it then, probably if you watch the videos. Yeah. But yeah, so that, I mean, other than that, nothing, man. We're just plugging away. We're trying to make our 20 years. We got three more years.
Oh yeah, you gonna throw a big party?
Yeah, we probably will. We had a big one for 15, so it was a pretty cool deal when we did that. So I guess we'll probably wait it out till the 20 to do another one.
Nice. All right, man. Go ahead and plug all your shit, and then I'll let you go so you can go eat.
Cool, man. Yeah, I appreciate it. Just really, we got Instagram at Gatti's Garage, Facebook, same thing, and YouTube, we're Gatti's Garage. Definitely check that out. We're gonna give the bike away. We try to do some informational videos. Sometimes it's just a bunch of bullshit hanging around the shop, talking shit. But that's it. Nothing else really to plug. Gatti'sGarage.com.
Cool. Yeah, I'll link it all in the show notes and shit.
Cool, man.
All right. Well, I appreciate you coming on and talking with me, man.
Anytime.
All right. I'll talk to you later, bud.
Have a great night.
You too.